What if beauty is not simply something we look at, but something that looks back at us? A quiet mirror of how we understand ourselves and the world. What if every time you pause in front of a sunset or feel moved by a piece of music, you are hearing a gentle message from the deepest parts of your mind? A reminder of who you are. A reminder of what it means to be human. This question has followed humanity since the beginning. What is beauty, and why does it feel so important? Long before there were books or screens, long before there were paintings or temples or cities, there were early humans standing on the edges of rivers, looking at the shimmer of morning light turning the water gold. There were people watching flames rise toward the night sky, mesmerized by the way the fire danced and breathed. There were children tracing the patterns of leaves, stones, and shells, sensing something meaningful in their shapes even before they could put words to the feeling. Beauty came long before language, long before culture, long before philosophy. It was one of the first teachers, a wordless guide shaping the way the mind formed and the way the senses awakened. And in a world that feels fast and loud and full of demands, understanding beauty is not a luxury. It is a calming return to something essential. When we understand why beauty moves us, we understand more about emotion, about clarity, about peace, and about the inner intelligence that has been guiding humans since the beginning. Tonight, we will explore the long story of beauty, how it evolved in our minds, how it shaped civilizations, how it influences emotion, memory, identity, and well-being, and how it can help you slow down, breathe deeply, and settle into a sense of quiet meaning. So let us begin, slowly, gently, as if stepping into a warm evening. Let the breath soften. Let the shoulders relax. Let each sentence unfold at a calm, steady rhythm. This is a journey meant to soothe you as much as it teaches you. A journey through landscapes of the mind, the senses, and the human story. A journey into the psychology of beauty. As you listen, imagine yourself walking through a wide-open space. Perhaps a field at dusk, the last light of day touching the grass with soft gold, a distant breeze brushing your skin. You are safe. You are unhurried. You are simply here, present with the gentle unfolding of ideas and imagery. There is nowhere to go, nothing to do, only a slow exploration of the meaning and mystery of beauty. Let us step into the beginning of this long story. The origins of aesthetic perception. To understand beauty, we begin at a time when the world was young for us, when our ancestors lived close to the earth, when survival depended on paying attention to the smallest details. Imagine early humans waking in the soft light of dawn, the air cool against their skin, the smell of damp earth and leaves rising gently around them. For them, the world was not background. It was everything. Every sound mattered. Every color carried meaning. And in that constant awareness, the first seeds of aesthetic perception began to grow. One of the earliest forms of beauty was safety. A fertile valley with flowing water was beautiful because it promised life. Fresh fruit hanging from a tree was beautiful because it meant nourishment. A familiar face, warm and expressive, was beautiful because it signaled belonging. The brain learned to feel drawn to patterns that supported survival. Lush landscapes, clear water, healthy skin, symmetry in leaves and shells, the glow of firelight at night. These were the first aesthetic cues long before art or philosophy existed. Research today shows that the human visual system evolved to quickly detect patterns that mattered for survival. The gentle symmetry of a leaf, The contrast of ripe fruit against green foliage, the shifting colors of the sky predicting weather. Even the play of light across water gave important information. And although modern life is far removed from those early environments, the mind still responds to these signals with a quiet sense of pleasure, a small spark of recognition, the feeling that something is right. This ancient resonance is the root of what we now call beauty. Imagine an early human standing on a cliff overlooking a vast plain, the sky stretching endlessly above, the horizon pulsing with soft morning light. In that moment, something deep inside would stir, a sense of awe, a sense of possibility, a sensation older than thought. This was the beginning of aesthetic emotion. Not yet art, not yet culture, but the feeling that the world could move you simply by being itself. Beauty also emerged from fire. As the sun fell and the night rose, fire became the center of human life. Its warmth, its sound, its shifting golden and orange shapes, the way shadows danced against rocks and wood. Firelight created the first human theater, the first play of light and color, the first space where people sat together, watched something glow and change, and felt a shared sense of peace. The brain began to associate warm, flickering light with comfort and safety. Even now, candles and fireplaces bring many people a deep sense of calm. This is memory older than memory, aesthetic instinct rooted in survival. In the quiet moments of early life, humans also learned to notice patterns, the spiral of a shell, the curve of an animal's tracks, the repetition of waves rolling onto shore. These natural rhythms shaped the brain's preference for harmony and balance. The mind became sensitive to proportion because nature spoke in proportion. It became sensitive to rhythm because the world around it pulsed in rhythm. The seasons, the tides, the beating heart, the breathing lungs. In every part of existence there was repetition and variation, predictability and surprise. These early experiences shaped the architecture of aesthetic pleasure. As the sun set each evening, early humans looked at the changing sky with quiet fascination. Colors blooming and fading, clouds shifting like soft brushstrokes, stars piercing the darkness one by one. These nightly displays were perhaps the first lessons in cosmic beauty, a reminder that the world was vast, that light and darkness danced together in a timeless rhythm. And even though early humans had no words for it, they felt something open inside them, a small sense of wonder, a sense that the world was more than a place to survive. It was a place to feel. Over thousands of years, these feelings shaped the evolution of perception. The brain became a highly tuned instrument, sensitive to subtle gradients of color, light, texture, and movement. Humans learned to read emotion in the faces of others, to sense intention in posture and rhythm, to feel comfort in symmetry and harmony, to feel excitement in contrast and complexity. What we now call beauty was woven into the very structure of the mind long before civilization began. As you imagine this world, let your breath slow. Picture a forest at dawn, light drifting through leaves, a river murmuring softly nearby, the scent of earth rising from the ground. These sensory images echo what your ancestors experienced every day. And although your life is different now, your mind still responds to such scenes with the same ancient recognition: calm, safety, presence, meaning. Early beauty was not decoration. It was guidance. It helped humans choose nourishing environments, safe companions, healthy partners, stable communities, Beautiful things were often the things that helped life flourish. And because of this, the mind evolved to feel drawn to harmony, balance, color, and emotional warmth. Beauty became a signal, a compass, a quiet teacher shaping the path of human evolution. Imagine standing at the edge of a lake just as the day begins to fade, the surface of the water turning silver, the sky deepening into soft blues and purples, a gentle wind brushing your skin. In this stillness, you can feel the ancient connection between perception and emotion. The same connection early humans felt when they paused to look at the world around them. Beauty has always been an invitation to slow down, to notice, to feel. And as we move forward into the next part of this long journey, carry with you the sense that beauty is older than thought, older than culture, older than language. It began with attention, with awareness, with a deep instinct to recognize what nourishes life. This instinct is still within you, quiet, steady, guiding the way your mind sees the world, guiding the way your emotions settle into calm. Let us continue into the next realm of this exploration, where the ancient roots of beauty begin to blossom into something more. The beauty instinct, the deeper evolutionary story of why humans feel drawn to harmony, proportion, color, and connection. The beauty instinct. Beauty began as a signal long before it became a source of pleasure. In the earliest chapters of human evolution, the mind learned to recognize patterns that supported life. The softness of edible fruit, the clear rhythm of flowing water, the smooth, unbroken movement of a healthy animal. These patterns were not just useful, they were quietly magnetic. The brain evolved to feel drawn to the very things that increased the likelihood of survival and connection. This pull toward harmony and balance became the foundation of the beauty instinct. The beauty instinct is one of the mind's oldest languages. It is the quiet way your senses evaluate the world, translating shape and color into subtle emotional cues. A landscape rich in vegetation and gentle color gradients feels pleasing not by accident, but because such places were safe for ancient humans. Even today, parks, forests, and gardens calm the nervous system because the mind carries this old blueprint. The soothing experience of natural beauty is not a modern luxury. It is an evolutionary echo. Symmetry became one of the clearest signals of health. A symmetrical face often reflects stable development, good nutrition, and resilience against illness. The brain notices symmetry instantly, long before conscious thought begins. This is why symmetrical shapes in nature and art feel satisfying without effort. The mind recognizes balance before words can describe it. Early humans relied on this automatic sensitivity to choose reliable partners, healthy companions, and strong communities. Over generations, the ability to perceive symmetry grew deeper and more refined. Color, too, became part of the beauty instinct. In ancient environments, certain colors carried essential meaning. Warm tones signaled firelight, safety, and social closeness. Deep greens signaled fertile land. Rich reds signaled nutrition or vitality. The eye evolved to perceive fine differences in color because each shade held information. As thousands of generations passed, these signals blended into emotional associations. Even today, warm colors feel intimate and grounding. Cool colors feel spacious and calm. The mind responds not only to the world outside, but to the ancient stories written within its own architecture. Movement also shaped the development of beauty. Healthy movement patterns, smooth, coordinated, rhythmic, signaled vitality and safety. The mind learned to read grace in the steps of others, to sense comfort in the gentle sway of trees, to feel drawn to the flowing lines of rivers and clouds. This sensitivity to movement formed the roots of later artistic expression. Dance is not separate from survival. It is the elaboration of instinctive attraction to rhythm and fluidity. The beauty instinct also shaped the way humans connected with one another. The warmth of a smile, the softness of eyes filled with kindness, the musical rise and fall of a gentle voice. These small aesthetic cues carried emotional weight long before language became complex. A face expressing warmth signaled trustworthiness. A calm posture signaled safety. A rhythmic voice soothed the nervous system. These interpersonal aesthetics guided the formation of early social groups, helping humans build alliances strong enough to survive harsh landscapes. Imagine a small community gathered beside a fire at the end of a long day. Shadows sway on the ground as sparks drift into the night. Voices mix with the crackling of wood. Faces glow with amber light. In this simple scene, the roots of many aesthetic preferences are present. Warm colors, rhythmic sound, symmetrical patterns of flame, expressive faces, gentle movement. Each element activates layers of ancient memory. Each one reflects the deep biological link between beauty and connection. Over time, the beauty instinct expanded beyond survival. Humans began to seek not only safety, but meaning. Beauty became a bridge between the physical world and the inner world. When early humans decorated their bodies with pigment or carved shapes into stone, they were not just creating decoration. They were expressing the instinct to transform perception into emotion, to turn the world outside into something felt within. This instinct is still part of you. It shapes the way you respond to faces, to landscapes, to music, to color, to softness, to light. It shapes the way your attention settles on patterns that feel harmonious and pulls away from patterns that feel chaotic or threatening. It shapes your sense of comfort, your sense of connection, and the quiet moments when you pause to appreciate something without knowing exactly why. As you let these ideas settle, imagine a quiet path at dusk. The sky washed in soft gradients of rose and blue, leaves stirring gently overhead, the ground warm beneath your feet. In this moment, you can feel how beauty guides attention, emotion, and memory. You can feel the ancient compass still turning within you, a compass that has guided humans for tens of thousands of years, pointing them toward safety, toward connection, and toward harmony. This instinct, born in the earliest days of human life, became the foundation for all later forms of art, culture, expression, and desire. It became the seed from which music, painting, storytelling, and architecture evolved. It is the quiet root beneath the vast tree of human creativity, and it continues to shape your experience of the world, moment by moment. The brain on beauty. The experience of beauty begins in the senses, but its deeper resonance unfolds within the brain. When the eyes meet a pattern that feels harmonious, or when the ears catch a sound that feels soothing, a quiet cascade begins. Signals travel from the senses into network shaped by millions of years of evolution. These networks transform light and sound into emotion. They turn simple perception into a feeling of pleasure, meaning, or calm. Inside the visual cortex, the brain processes edges, curves, colors, and contrasts. These early steps are fast and automatic. The mind detects symmetry before it knows why it matters. It notices repeating patterns before understanding what they represent. As this information travels deeper, It reaches areas involved in reward and emotion. When something feels beautiful, the brain often releases dopamine. This gentle wave does not create excitement so much as ease, a sense of openness, a softening of inattention. Beauty also engages the brain's pattern recognition systems. The mind is constantly searching for structure in the world. When it finds balance, repetition, or rhythm, it feels a subtle relief. A moment of clarity. The world becomes easier to process. Shapes fall into place. Sound becomes coherent. This sense of cognitive fluency makes beauty feel effortless. A landscape with gentle contours, music with steady rhythm, a voice with warm tone. Each provides the mind with a pattern that feels easy to follow. Color adds emotional depth to this process. When the eyes take in color, signals travel to regions that connect vision with feeling. Warm tones often evoke comfort because they echo firelight and skin. Cool tones evoke spaciousness because they echo sky and water. The brain does not only see color, it remembers it. It attaches emotion and meaning to each shade, shaped by both biology and experience. Even a subtle shift in hue can change the entire emotional tone of a scene. Symmetry activates specialized circuits. The brain has dedicated pathways for processing balanced shapes. These pathways help babies recognize faces within hours of birth, and they continue to influence perception throughout life. Symmetry feels stable and predictable. It signals that development was smooth, health was strong, and danger is unlikely. When the brain detects symmetry in a face, object, or landscape, it responds with quiet satisfaction, a sense of rightness that emerges without conscious thought. The brain also responds to contrast, light and shadow, soft and sharp, stillness and movement. Contrast enhances attention. It helps the mind understand where one thing ends and another begins. Many beautiful scenes contain a balance of harmony and contrast. A calm landscape broken by a distant tree. A melody that rises gently and then surprises with a single unexpected note. A face that carries both strength and softness. This interplay activates both comfort and curiosity. Sound shapes beauty through rhythm and resonance. When the ear detects steady rhythm, the brain's motor areas subtly synchronize. Even without movement, the body aligns with the pattern. This alignment creates a feeling of coherence, a sense of being attuned to something outside oneself. Harmonic tones vibrate along pathways linked to emotion. This is why certain music can create chills or bring tears. The brain interprets resonance as connection, as something larger than thought. Beauty also reduces stress. When the mind encounters gentle patterns or calming colors, the amygdala, which monitors threat, becomes less active. Breathing may slow, muscles relax, and the nervous system shifts toward rest. This effect is why natural scenes feel soothing, even when viewed in photographs. The brain recognizes cues of safety, and the body responds by settling into calm. In moments of awe, another layer emerges. Awe occurs when beauty feels vast or mysterious. A mountain rising into clouds, the night sky stretching across eternity, a piece of music unfolding in a way that seems larger than the moment. Awe reduces the sense of self and widens perception. It activates networks associated with humility, curiosity, and social connection. The mind becomes quieter. The heart rate softens. The world feels both bigger and more intimate. These responses are not accidents. They are built into the structure of the brain. Beauty is a form of information translated into emotion through neural pathways shaped by evolution. When you look at a gentle landscape or hear a calming voice, you are experiencing the combined work of sensory systems, emotional circuits, and ancient instincts. Beauty feels meaningful because the brain treats it as meaningful. Imagine a soft glow of evening light, the shadows long and gentle, a quiet rhythm in the air, colors fading into one another with patient grace. As you picture this, the mind responds as if the scene were real. Muscles loosen, breath deepens. This is the brain's way of aligning itself with the patterns it evolved to understand. The perception of beauty becomes a form of inner balance, a way the mind restores itself. Beauty does not belong to one sense alone. It is a full-bodied response. Light, sound, texture, emotion, memory, all woven together into a single experience. The brain turns these threads into a feeling of harmony that echoes through thought and sensation. This is why beauty can calm or inspire, why it can carry memories or awaken longing, why it feels both simple and profound. Beauty is the mind recognizing something that fits, something that aligns with its deepest patterns, something that resonates with the ancient desire for connection and understanding. It is not decoration. It is the nervous system finding equilibrium, a gentle signal that the world, for a moment, makes sense. Faces and emotion. From the moment a human infant opens its eyes, the face becomes the most important landscape it will ever learn to read. Long before language forms, long before the mind understands words or symbols, the face communicates safety, warmth, and intention. The earliest memories of comfort are woven from the soft curves of a caregiver's features, the rise and fall of eyebrows, the gentle movement of a smile. These subtle shapes and motions become the foundation of emotional understanding. The human face contains a complex map of muscles capable of expressing thousands of variations. The brain is exquisitely tuned to these variations. Even slight changes in the eyes or mouth can shift an entire emotional message. This sensitivity is not a learned skill. It is an innate ability. Infants prefer to look at face-like shapes within hours of birth. The mind is drawn to symmetry, clear eyes, and expressive movement because these signals have guided human survival for countless generations. A symmetrical face often indicates healthy development, and the brain recognizes this without conscious effort. When the eyes meet someone with balanced features, the visual system processes the proportions with ease. This ease creates a small sense of pleasure, a feeling of harmony that slips quietly into the background. The opposite is also true. When the face shows signs of fatigue or distress, the brain registers subtle cues that influence emotional response. Even before awareness catches up, the nervous system is adjusting to these signals. Emotion lives not only in the face that expresses it, but in the face that observes it. Mirror neurons allow the brain to resonate with the expressions of others. When you see someone smile, your brain partially simulates the smile within your own neural circuits. This soft simulation helps you understand the emotion behind the expression. It also creates a gentle sense of connection. Beauty in faces is often tied to this resonance. A face that expresses warmth or kindness evokes an internal reflection of those feelings, making the experience feel comforting. Movement amplifies these effects. The small lifting of eyebrows, the subtle widening of eyes, the slow approach of a smile beginning to form. These micro-expressions carry layers of meaning. They reveal emotion before words appear. They offer clues about trust, curiosity, or affection. The brain notices these details instantly. Even when you believe you are not paying attention, your mind is quietly reading the emotional landscape of every face you encounter. Eyes hold a special place in this process. The contrast of the iris against the sclera makes the gaze more visible than in almost any other species. This visibility enhances communication. When eyes soften with affection or brighten with joy, the observer feels the shift. When eyes narrow with uncertainty, the message is equally clear. The aesthetic power of eyes lies not only in their color or shape, but in their ability to reveal the inner state of another person. The mouth carries similar weight. A relaxed mouth signals calm. A small upward curve signals friendliness. A full smile with soft eyes signals genuine happiness. The brain distinguishes authentic expressions from forced ones through subtle muscular cues. True smiles activate muscles around the eyes, creating slight creases and softening the overall expression. Forced smiles usually engage only the mouth. The mind detects these differences in an instant, shaping perception and emotion. Faces also carry the imprint of lived experience. Lines formed by laughter, concentration, or concern become part of the aesthetic story. Many people find depth and character in faces marked by age or emotion. These features remind the viewer of time past, challenges faced, and joys remembered. Beauty in this sense is not about perfection, but about authenticity. A face that reveals emotion becomes a map of meaning, inviting empathy and connection. Cultural differences shape the interpretation of facial beauty, but some universal patterns remain. Balanced features, expressive eyes, and warm smiles evoke positive responses across many societies. The universality of these cues reflects the deep evolutionary roots of human social life. Faces were the primary source of information long before writing or symbols existed. Even today, a single expression can communicate what a paragraph cannot. Imagine sitting with someone who looks at you with gentle eyes and a soft smile. Even without words, you feel seen, understood, accepted. This sensation is part of the psychology of beauty. The face becomes a vessel of emotion, and the brain responds with trust and calm. This is why the simple act of looking into the eyes of another person can feel grounding. It activates systems linked to bonding and reduces anxiety. Faces also carry memories. When you see someone whose features remind you of a person from your past, the brain reacts with familiar emotion. A certain angle of the jaw, a particular way the brow moves, a subtle rhythm in the smile. These small cues can recall moments of comfort or connection. Beauty becomes intertwined with personal history, shaped by the associations the mind collects over time. In moments of stillness, a face can feel like a peaceful landscape. The soft rise of cheeks, the gentle shadow beneath the lip, the calm rhythm of breathing. When you imagine someone resting or smiling softly, your nervous system often mirrors the calm. This is why images of serene faces or peaceful expressions can ease tension. The brain interprets the scene as safe, allowing the body to relax. The beauty of human expression is not confined to attraction or aesthetics. It is a window into emotional life. Each expression reveals something real, something that makes connection possible. When the brain reads these signals, it is responding to a form of beauty older than culture. A beauty rooted in empathy, communication, and trust. Faces are stories written in motion. They carry the quiet truth of who we are. They reflect joy, longing, curiosity, strength, and vulnerability. And the mind, shaped by millennia of social life, recognizes these truths instantly. In every face there is a glimpse of shared humanity, a quiet reminder that beauty is not merely seen. It is felt, it is understood, it is remembered. This is the aesthetic power of emotion, a silent language spoken between minds, a bridge formed through light, shadow, and the subtle movements of a living expression. Beauty in nature. Nature was the first gallery the human mind ever knew. Long before cities formed or art was shaped by hand, the world itself offered patterns, colors, and rhythms that stirred a deep sense of calm and wonder. Every element of the natural world carries aesthetic qualities that resonate with the brain's oldest instincts. These qualities speak in a language older than words. They touch the senses with a quiet clarity that soothes the nervous system and invites reflection. Consider the symmetry found in nature, the branching of trees, the spirals of shells, the repeating patterns of waves, the balanced wings of butterflies. These shapes echo the mathematical principles that underlie much of life's structure. The mind recognizes these patterns with ease. This recognition creates a sense of harmony, a gentle feeling that the world is organized in a way that makes sense. Even without conscious understanding, the brain interprets natural symmetry as stable and safe. Color is another form of natural beauty that shapes emotion. The deep greens of forests signal nourishment and shelter. The blues of sky and water evoke openness and spaciousness. The warm tones of sunlight at dawn and dusk create an atmosphere of comfort and tranquility. These colors guide the nervous system, helping it shift from alertness to calm. When people seek rest or clarity, they often imagine natural scenes without realizing why. The mind returns to colors that have supported human life for millennia. Movement in nature also carries aesthetic power. The gentle sway of grass in the wind, the flow of rivers, the rise and fall of waves, the drifting of clouds across the sky. Each movement holds a rhythm that the brain finds soothing. Natural rhythms lack harshness. They have softness, fluidity, and continuity. Watching a river move or listening to leaves rustle can bring the mind into a slower tempo. A tempo closer to the body's natural resting rhythms. Light shapes nature's beauty in ever-changing ways. The soft glow of morning light creates long, quiet shadows. Midday sunlight brings clarity and brightness. Evening light spreads warmth across the world, softening edges and deepening colors. Humans evolved to rise and rest with these rhythms. The changing qualities of light throughout the day guide the internal clock and influence mood. When the mind encounters warm, gentle light, it often responds with a sense of peace. Scale contributes to the experience of natural beauty. Standing before a mountain or looking up at a wide sky can evoke awe. Awe arises when the world feels larger than the self. It creates a shift in perspective, softening the sense of urgency and quieting internal noise. The body relaxes, the breath deepens, the mind opens. Even imagining vast landscapes can create this effect. The brain responds to imagined scale almost as powerfully as it does to real scenery, allowing the mind to ease into stillness through memory or visualization. Nature also carries texture, the smoothness of water-worn stones, the roughness of bark under the fingers, the softness of moss, the fine, delicate surface of petals. These textures engage the sense of touch, grounding the mind in the present moment. Touch is one of the most calming senses. It slows thought and anchors attention. When people seek calm, they often reach for natural materials without consciously understanding why. Wood, stone, leaves, and earth provide tactile reassurance. Sound is another dimension of nature's beauty. The gentle rush of wind, the whisper of leaves moving against one another, the rhythmic pulse of waves, the distant call of birds. These sounds contain no harsh edges. They lack the suddenness that triggers alertness. Instead, they create a soft acoustic environment that envelops the mind in calm. Natural soundscapes reduce stress by signaling that there is no immediate danger. The nervous system settles. Breathing becomes slower and deeper. Even silence in nature has beauty. The quiet of a forest at dusk, the stillness of a snow-covered field, the soft pause between waves. Silence in nature is rarely empty. It carries subtle sensations, a distant breeze, a faint echo, a quiet hum of life. This kind of silence invites reflection. It gives space for thought to slow and soften. It allows the mind to feel spacious rather than crowded. The night sky is one of the oldest sources of awe. For early humans, the stars were both mysterious and comforting. Patterns in the sky helped guide movement and seasons. The slow rotation of constellations provided a sense of order. Today, the night sky still evokes wonder. The vastness of space, the delicate shimmer of starlight, the deep calm of darkness. Looking into the night sky can shift awareness outward, reminding the mind of its place in a larger universe. This shift often creates a sense of peace. Water carries its own aesthetic language, its transparency, its ability to reflect light, its constant movement, the way it gathers into droplets or spreads across surfaces, the sound it makes when it falls or flows. Water is one of the most calming elements of nature because the mind associates it with life, nourishment, and continuity. Watching water can create a meditative state. Listening to water can quiet internal chatter. Being near water often lowers stress levels and supports emotional clarity. The changing seasons add another layer to nature's beauty. Spring brings renewal with soft greens and delicate blossoms. Summer offers abundance with rich colors and long days. Autumn creates warmth with deep reds, oranges, and golds. Winter offers stillness with muted tones and quiet landscapes. These transformations remind the mind of cycles: growth, rest, renewal, impermanence. This recognition can soften the grip of worry and help the mind accept its own rhythms. Nature's beauty also shaped human culture. Early art reflected landscapes, animals, and natural patterns. Rituals often celebrated seasonal changes. Architecture echoed natural forms. Even today, design that incorporates natural light, organic shapes, and calming colors tends to feel comforting. This is not simply taste. It is biology. The mind feels at home in patterns that reflect the environments in which it evolved. Imagine standing in a meadow at the edge of evening, the sky shifting to deep blue, the air carrying a faint coolness, grass moving softly around your legs. Far away, a few birds glide across the horizon. This simple scene holds many qualities the brain finds beautiful: gentle movement, soft color, open space, rhythmic sound. Even in imagination, scenes like this bring the nervous system into balance. Nature reminds the mind to slow down. It offers patterns and rhythms that match the body's needs. It eases the senses without demanding attention. It invites quiet. The beauty of nature is not decoration or luxury. It is a form of nourishment, a way the world speaks to the deepest layers of the mind, guiding it toward calm, clarity, and connection. When humans moved through forests, fields, mountains, and rivers for thousands of years, these environments shaped perception. They shaped emotion. They shaped the very structure of attention. And those ancient relationships remain alive within you. The sense of peace that arises when you imagine or encounter natural beauty is a memory shared across generations. A quiet thread connecting you to the earliest experiences of being human. Artistic beauty. Art began when humans first attempted to bring the outside world into the inner world and then express it again outward. Before writing, before cities, before tools grew sophisticated, early humans were already creating images, rhythms, and forms that transformed raw perception into meaning. Artistic beauty emerged from the instinct to reflect, to record, and to shape the experience of being alive. The earliest known paintings were made deep inside caves. These spaces were dark, cool, and hidden from everyday life. People would enter with firelight and pigments created from earth, charcoal, and minerals. They traced the curves of animals, the outlines of human hands, and patterns that held symbolic meaning. These paintings were not simply attempts to depict reality. They were acts of connection. The flickering firelight animated the images, making them move with shadow and glow. The artists may have felt a sense of presence, as if the boundary between the physical and the spiritual had softened. Beauty in these early artworks came from the harmony between human intention and the natural lines of stone. Sculpture emerged as another form of expression. Carvings of figures, animals, and symbols revealed the human ability to see form within formlessness. A piece of bone or stone became a shape that held meaning. Carving required patience and precision. Each stroke transformed the material, revealing contours that resonated with the mind's sense of proportion and balance. Sculpted forms often carried exaggerated features linked to fertility, strength, or protection. These features reflected the early aesthetic preferences rooted in survival and emotion. Over time, music became one of the most powerful forms of artistic beauty. Rhythm existed in the natural world long before humans created instruments. The beat of footsteps, the pulse of the heart, the flow of water, the crackle of fire. When humans began to imitate and enhance these rhythms, music emerged as a bridge between mind and environment. Simple percussive patterns evolved into complex rhythms. Voices formed melodies that carried emotion across distances. Music soothed children, strengthened bonds within groups, and created shared emotional experiences. It also activated deep neural circuits, synchronizing movement and feeling in ways that supported social cohesion. As societies grew, artistic expression became more refined. Painting evolved from simple outlines into detailed representations of landscapes, people, and symbolic scenes. Artists learned to use color, contrast, and composition to guide the eye and evoke emotion. Warm colors created intimacy. Cool colors created space. Dark tones added depth. Light tones offered clarity. The placement of shapes created balance or tension. Artistic beauty developed into a sophisticated language through which humans could express feelings that words could not reach. Architecture also became an expression of aesthetic instinct. Early shelters were made for safety, but as communities formed, structures began to reflect values and beliefs. Symmetrical buildings evoked stability. Tall structures inspired awe. Complex patterns carved into stone or wood honored ancestors and stories. The shapes used in construction often echoed natural forms, curves like river bends, pillars like tree trunks, openings like cave mouths. Beauty in architecture became a way for humans to recreate the harmony they felt in nature, shaping spaces that nurtured the mind. Dance united movement, emotion, and rhythm. When humans danced, they expressed inner states through physical form. Graceful arcs, sudden gestures, slow turns, and flowing sequences created a visual language of feeling. Dance allowed individuals to express joy, sorrow, longing, and unity. The aesthetic power of dance lies in the precision and fluidity of movement. The mind recognizes these qualities instantly, responding with empathy and resonance. Watching dance can evoke the sensation of moving, even while remaining still. Stories became another form of artistic beauty. Spoken around fires or shared through song, stories transformed memory into narrative. They made experience coherent. They created meaning. Beauty in storytelling came from rhythm, imagery, and emotional truth. A tale with balanced structure, vivid scenes, and deep feeling resonated with the mind's preference for order and connection. Stories allowed people to see their lives reflected in the experiences of others, building empathy and understanding. Arts also became a way to explore emotion. When someone paints a stormy sky, the artwork reflects not only weather, but the feeling of turmoil or intensity. When a sculpture shows a figure at rest, it may express peace or vulnerability. Music with slow tempo and soft tone may convey longing or introspection. Artistic beauty translates inner experience into outer form, allowing both the creator and the observer to understand more about their own emotions. In many cultures, art served as a spiritual practice. Mandalas created with careful symmetry reflected the desire for inner balance. Ritual dances symbolized cosmic cycles. Intricate patterns woven into cloth carried stories across generations. Artistic beauty became a way to make the invisible visible, giving shape to belief, memory, and identity. As artistic traditions evolved, certain principles of beauty appeared across different times and cultures. Proportion remained important. Balance created harmony. Rhythm guided motion. Contrast created interest. These principles mirror the brain's preferences. They reflect the ancient instincts shaped by nature and refined by experience. Artistic beauty does more than stimulate the senses. It invites contemplation. It slows the mind. A painting with gentle colors can create stillness. A piece of music with soft rhythm can steady breath. A sculpture with smooth, flowing lines can calm the body. Art creates emotional space, offering refuge from the pace of daily life. It allows the mind to rest in patterns that feel both meaningful and gentle. Imagine standing in a quiet room with a single painting illuminated by warm light. The colors soft, the shapes balanced, the composition drawing the eye with patience. In this moment, time feels slower. The mind feels more open. Artistic beauty creates this effect by speaking directly to the nervous system. It reassures, it comforts, it engages without overwhelming. Art is one of the most profound expressions of human life because it merges instinct with imagination. It takes the beauty that exists in nature and transforms it through the lens of emotion and meaning. It takes the beauty within the mind and gives it form in the world. It allows people to understand themselves and one another with subtlety and depth. The power of art lies not only in what is created, but in what is felt. A simple line can evoke tenderness. A gentle melody can soothe a restless mind. A well-composed photograph can invite the viewer into silence. Art reflects the human capacity to notice, to feel, to care, and to transform. It reveals the intelligence of the senses and the sensitivity of the mind. Artistic beauty is the meeting point between perception and imagination, between the world outside and the world within. It shows that beauty is not only something humans receive, it is something they create. Cultural beauty. Beauty does not live in the mind alone. It also lives in the shared world that humans build together. Every culture in history has shaped its own vision of what is beautiful. And these visions grow from geography, environment, spirituality, survival needs, collective memory, and social values. Cultural beauty is the meeting place between instinct and tradition. It is how communities express identity, belonging, and meaning through shapes, colors, rituals, and stories. It is one of the ways a society teaches its members how to see. Imagine an ancient village at sunrise. Houses built from clay, stone, or wood. Textiles dyed with natural pigments hanging in the breeze. Tools arranged with care. Patterns carved into doorways. Even in the quiet of dawn, beauty lives in these spaces. It lives in structure and color, but it also lives in intention. The intention to make something more than functional, to make it resonate with the values of the people who live there. Different environments shaped different senses of beauty. Cultures living near oceans often gravitated toward flowing lines, soft blues, and rhythmic patterns that echoed waves. Cultures surrounded by mountains developed aesthetics inspired by stone, height, and strength. Communities in forests created art with deep greens, intricate patterns, and organic shapes mirroring leaves, vines, and branches. Desert cultures used warm tones, geometric patterns, and symbolic repetition, reflecting the harmony and vastness of open landscapes. These aesthetic traditions grew from daily experience, shaping how each culture saw the world and itself. The human mind carries ancient instincts for symmetry and balance, but culture refines these instincts into specific ideals. In some societies, beauty emphasized softness and subtlety. In others, strength and sharp lines. Some traditions valued complexity and ornate detail. Others found beauty in simplicity and minimal form. These preferences reflect the spiritual and emotional atmosphere of each culture. A society that valued inner stillness often created calm, spacious art. A society shaped by ritual and ceremony often created elaborate patterns filled with symbolism. Clothing became one of the earliest cultural canvases. In many traditions, garments expressed more than personal identity. They revealed status, role, and belonging. Textiles woven with careful detail told stories through color and pattern. Red pigments symbolized vitality. Blue represented sky or spirit. Gold evoked sunlight. Black carried depth and mystery. Over generations, each society developed techniques for weaving, dyeing, embroidering, or shaping fabrics. These techniques became hallmarks of cultural beauty. They carried memory forward. They taught each new generation how to appreciate the aesthetic language of their ancestors. Jewelry served a similar role. Shells, stones, metals, feathers, and beads became symbols of identity. The materials chosen often reflected the environment. Cultures near rivers used polished stones and shells. Mountain communities used carved bone or metal. Forest cultures wove natural fibers with beads. The adornments people wore expressed their understanding of beauty, status, story, and spirituality. Even today, jewelry often carries personal or cultural meaning far deeper than its physical appearance. Architecture grew into one of the most powerful expressions of cultural beauty. Temples built to honor the divine. Homes designed to align with climate and tradition. Public spaces shaped to bring communities together. The symmetry of Greek temples, the curves of Middle Eastern arches, the precision of Japanese wooden structures, the organic forms of indigenous architecture. Each style reflects the way a culture interprets harmony and purpose. Architectural beauty influences the rhythm of daily life, shaping how people walk, gather, rest, and reflect. Music offers another window into cultural beauty. Rhythms born from footsteps on earth, melodies shaped by the sound of wind, water, or animal calls. Instruments built from local materials, drums made from stretched hide, flutes carved from wood or bone, strings woven from plant fibers. Each culture created a musical identity that reflected its landscape, rituals, and emotional tone. Some traditions favored gentle, flowing songs meant for meditation or storytelling. Others embraced strong rhythms meant for dance, ceremony, or celebration. Music became a shared heartbeat, syncing the emotions of entire communities. Dance expressed collective memory through movement. In some cultures, dance told stories of creation, seasons, ancestors, or journeys. In others, dance strengthened community bonds, marking transitions in life or honoring spirits. The movements, costumes, and rhythms carried aesthetic meaning. Fluid dances conveyed grace and emotional openness. Energetic dances reflected vitality and strength. Structured dances revealed harmony and discipline. Dance brought people into alignment with one another, turning motion into shared beauty. Cultural beauty also lives in symbols. Spirals, circles, triangles, and geometric patterns appear in traditions across the world. These shapes hold meaning that transcends their lines. A spiral may represent growth or the cycle of life. A circle may symbolize unity, the sun, or eternity. Triangles may carry meanings of balance, creation, or strength. These symbols reflect the way a culture makes sense of existence, and they often appear in art, clothing, architecture, and ritual objects. The repetition of these symbols across generations strengthens identity and preserves shared understanding. Rituals are another expression of cultural aesthetics. The way a community prepares food, the arrangement of objects for ceremony, the lighting of candles or fires, the use of scent, color, sound, and gesture. Rituals engage the senses intentionally, creating an environment filled with meaning. The beauty of ritual lies not only in its visual form, but in its emotional purpose. It marks transitions, honors ancestors, and connects individuals with something larger than themselves. Storytelling has carried cultural beauty from one generation to the next. Myths, legends, and oral histories shape not only beliefs, but aesthetic values. The imagery used in stories influences how people imagine the world. A tale that describes the sea as a living spirit may lead to art filled with fluid lines and deep blues. A story that honors mountains as sacred beings may inspire architecture that reaches upward. Narrative beauty and visual beauty often grow together, shaping the emotional landscape of a culture. Food also carries beauty. Presentation, color, aroma, and texture create a sensory experience that reflects cultural identity. Some traditions emphasize balance and harmony in flavors. Others highlight boldness and contrast. The aesthetic arrangement of food can express hospitality, celebration, or respect. Even the shapes and patterns of dishes reflect cultural preferences. Food becomes a form of artistic expression, nourishing both body and spirit. Cultural beauty evolves with time. As societies change, their aesthetic values shift. New influences enter through trade, migration, and technology. Old forms blend with new ones. Traditions adapt while still preserving their roots. This evolution is a natural part of culture. It allows beauty to grow, expand, and reflect the changing story of humanity. Yet even as cultures differ in their specifics, certain themes appear again and again. A preference for symmetry, an appreciation for balance, a love for gentle rhythm, a desire for expressive color, a fascination with natural forms. These shared threads reflect the deeper biological foundations of beauty, woven with cultural stories and environment. Cultural beauty shapes the way people see the world. It teaches what to admire, what to respect, and what to aspire toward. It influences emotional responses, personal identity, and the feeling of belonging. It creates continuity between generations, connecting past and present through shared aesthetic language. Imagine walking through a marketplace filled with the colors, textiles, sculptures, and music of a culture that has grown over thousands of years. Every object has a history. Every pattern carries meaning. Every sound echoes a long line of voices. In this place, beauty is not abstract. It is alive. It breathes through the people, the environment, and the traditions that hold them together. Cultural beauty is a testament to the human ability to interpret the world through the senses and through meaning. It shows that beauty is not a fixed ideal, but a living expression of collective life. It reveals the ways people turn surroundings into identity, experiences into story, and instinct into creation. Personal aesthetics. Personal aesthetics form at the point where universal biological instincts, cultural traditions, and individual experience meet. Every person carries a unique constellation of memories, emotions, values, and sensory preferences that shape what they find beautiful. Two people can stand before the same landscape or hear the same melody, and each will experience it differently. This difference does not arise from taste alone. It arises from the entire history of a life lived through sight, sound, touch, emotion, and meaning. From early childhood, the mind begins collecting associations. A certain shade of blue may remind someone of a childhood bedroom filled with calm evenings. A particular scent may recall a loved one's presence. A texture may evoke memories of comfort or discomfort. These memories become part of the aesthetic map within the brain. When something in the present resembles these earlier experiences, the mind reacts with familiarity or aversion. Beauty becomes intertwined with personal history. Imagine a child growing up near the ocean. The sound of waves becomes a background rhythm to daily life. The soft blue of the horizon becomes a symbol of safety. The salty scent carried by the breeze becomes a cue for home. Later in life, this person may feel drawn to paintings of the sea, music that evokes open spaces, or colors that resemble water. This attraction is not random. It is a reflection of the emotional patterns formed during childhood. Personal aesthetics often echo the environments that shaped early experiences. Another individual might grow up in a city filled with warm lights, busy streets, and tall buildings. The rhythm of footsteps and distant voices becomes their natural soundtrack. The glow of street lamps and the geometry of architecture shape their visual preferences. This person may feel beauty in structured forms, bold contrasts, or nighttime scenes. Their aesthetic sensibility reflects the emotional texture of the world they knew intimately. Personal aesthetics also form through relationships. A smile that once brought comfort may make similar expressions feel comforting long after the person is gone. The way someone spoke, moved, or dressed can influence what the mind associates with warmth or connection. A certain piece of music may feel beautiful because it was shared during a meaningful moment. Beauty becomes a vessel that carries echoes of human connection. Emotion plays a central role in shaping aesthetic preference. When something evokes joy, relief, curiosity, or peace, the brain records the experience. Later, similar stimuli may trigger the same emotional resonance. This is why people sometimes feel drawn to objects or scenes without knowing why. The mind recognizes an emotional pattern before conscious thought can trace its origins. Beauty is often a form of emotional recognition. Nostalgia enhances this effect. When a stimulus resembles something from the past, it can evoke a bittersweet feeling that blends comfort and longing. A faded photograph, a gentle melody, a familiar scent. These sensations bring the mind into contact with earlier versions of the self. Nostalgia can make ordinary things feel extraordinary, infusing them with personal significance. Beauty becomes a bridge between past and present. Personality also shapes aesthetic preference. Those who seek calm may prefer soft colors, gentle music, and minimal forms. Those who crave stimulation may gravitate toward bold contrasts, dynamic rhythms, or intricate patterns. Introverted individuals may find beauty in stillness and subtlety. Extroverted individuals may find it in vibrancy and movement. The mind selects the kinds of beauty that align with its natural rhythms. Values play a role as well. Someone who values harmony may find beauty in balance and symmetry. Someone who values freedom may be drawn to asymmetry and spontaneity. A person who values tradition may prefer classic forms. A person who values innovation may be drawn to experimental or unusual aesthetics. These preferences reflect deeper aspects of identity. Beauty becomes a form of self-expression. Even seasons of life influence what feels beautiful. A teenager may find beauty in intensity, contrast, and rebellion. An adult may find it in stability, warmth, and reflection. An older person may appreciate subtlety, memory, and meaning. Beauty shifts as priorities shift. The aesthetics that comfort a restless mind may differ from those that comfort a peaceful one. As people grow, their internal landscape changes, and so does their sense of beauty. Trauma can shape personal aesthetics as well. Certain sounds or images may feel overwhelming because they resemble past stress. Conversely, certain colors or textures may become essential sources of comfort. The mind learns to navigate the world by seeking sensory experiences that restore safety. Beauty in this context becomes a form of emotional regulation. Creativity emerges from these personal patterns. When someone paints, writes, composes music, or designs, they draw from the aesthetic language formed within them. Their choices reflect the memories, emotions, and instincts that shaped their inner world. This is why creative expression feels intimate. It reveals the unseen architecture of personal beauty, the colors chosen, the rhythm preferred, the forms repeated. Each one reflects a detail from the creator's inner life. Imagine a person who loves the sound of rain. They may prefer soft rhythms, muted tones, or calm imagery. Another person might find beauty in sunlight and open skies. They may be drawn to bright colors, expansive scenes, or melodies that evoke movement. These differences are not simply preferences. They are reflections of the environments, emotions, and states of mind that have shaped a life. Objects can hold personal aesthetic meaning independent of cultural ideals. A worn book, a smooth stone picked up during a peaceful walk, a sweater once worn by someone loved, a simple cup with a familiar shape. These objects may not be universally beautiful, but they carry emotional depth. They embody personal history. Their beauty lies in the memories and feelings they evoke. Personal aesthetics influence daily choices. What clothes feel comfortable? What music feels right at certain moments? What spaces feel calming? What colors create ease? These choices shape the emotional atmosphere of life. They guide how people create environments that support their well-being. A room painted in soft tones. A window that lets in warm light. A plant placed where the eye can rest. These small decisions reflect personal beauty as a lived experience. Personal aesthetics also influence relationships. People often feel drawn to those whose emotional or sensory presence aligns with their own. A voice that feels soothing, a way of moving that feels familiar, a style that resonates. These subtle cues create connection. They help form bonds that feel natural and grounding. Beauty becomes part of the language through which people choose companionship. Even imagination shapes aesthetic preference. The inner world, with its memories, dreams, and reflections, develops its own sense of beauty. When someone imagines a peaceful place, the details they choose reveal what they find comforting. Gentle water, warm light, quiet forests, snowfall, desert dunes. Each person's image of peace is deeply personal. Each vision is shaped by a lifetime of sensory and emotional experience. In quiet moments, when the mind drifts, personal aesthetics rise to the surface. The images, colors, sounds, and textures that come to mind reflect the internal landscape. When someone feels drawn to certain forms of beauty, it is often because those forms mirror something inside them. Beauty becomes a dialogue between the outer world and the inner world. Personal aesthetics are not fixed. They shift with new experiences, relationships, environments, and emotions. As life changes, the meaning of beauty changes. A new memory can transform a once ordinary place into a sanctuary. A new relationship can fill a simple melody with tenderness. A moment of peace can make a quiet scene feel profound. Beauty grows with the person who perceives it. Personal beauty is not about perfection. It is about resonance. It is the feeling that something outside you reflects something inside you. It is the quiet recognition that a color, a sound, a shape, or a moment aligns with your own emotional truth. It is a way of understanding yourself, a way of feeling connected to your own story. When you encounter something that feels beautiful, you are meeting a part of yourself in the world. Personal aesthetics reveal the shape of your inner life. They show what you cherish, what you long for, what comforts you, and what brings you into harmony with the present moment. Beauty and healing. Beauty has always been intertwined with healing. Long before medicine became formalized, long before the mind was understood in scientific terms, humans intuitively sensed that certain sights, sounds, and experiences could soothe suffering. When someone was troubled, they sought the open air. When stress grew heavy, people turned toward rivers, trees, or the quiet warmth of firelight. When grief weighed on the heart, stories and rituals helped carry the emotion. Beauty acted not as a distraction, but as a companion, gently guiding the mind back toward balance. Healing begins with safety. When the nervous system perceives danger, the body tightens, breath shortens, and awareness narrows. In such moments, beauty provides cues of calm. A gentle color palette, a soft voice, a peaceful landscape, or a harmonious melody signals to the brain that the environment is stable. These cues reduce activity in the amygdala, allowing stress hormones to decline. Muscles relax, breathing deepens, the body shifts from vigilance to restoration. Beauty, in this sense, is not luxury. It is physiological medicine. Natural beauty is especially potent in calming the mind. Studies have shown that viewing scenes of nature, even through images or windows, lowers heart rate and blood pressure. The mind associates natural forms with safety because ancestral environments shaped the nervous system. Forests, mountains, water, and open fields carry the sensory qualities that signaled nourishment, shelter, and predictability throughout human evolution. When the brain encounters these cues, it relaxes. Beauty activates the restorative pathways that support healing. Light is one of the simplest yet most powerful forms of aesthetic healing. Soft, warm light signals the mind that the day is winding down. It encourages the release of melatonin, preparing the body for sleep and recovery. Harsh light can create tension, but gentle illumination creates ease. Many people instinctively seek candlelight or lamps during stressful moments. The warm glow echoes ancient firelight that once protected early humans through the night. The association is deep and calming. Sound plays an equally important role. Slow, rhythmic sounds regulate the body's internal rhythms. When a person listens to steady waves, rainfall, or soft music, the brain synchronizes with these patterns. Breathing becomes slower, the heart rate steadies, the entire nervous system shifts into coherence. This effect helps reduce anxiety and improves emotional clarity. Harmonic tones, in particular, soothe the limbic system, reducing the intensity of emotional distress. Touch contributes to healing through aesthetic experience as well. Soft textures such as smooth fabrics, warm blankets, or natural materials can reduce physical stress. The sense of touch communicates directly with emotional centers of the brain. When the body feels comfort, the mind often follows. This is why people gather near fires, wrap themselves in blankets, or hold comforting objects during difficult moments. The sensory grounding helps the nervous system regulate emotion. Art therapy draws from these principles. When people engage in painting, drawing, music, or dance, they activate sensory pathways that help integrate emotions. Creating art allows difficult feelings to take form, becoming tangible and less overwhelming. Colors and shapes can express emotions that are hard to articulate. Rhythm and movement can release tension stored in the body. Artistic beauty becomes a channel through which healing flows. Storytelling has long been used as a healing tool. When someone listens to a story, their mind enters a state of narrative immersion. This immersion creates distance from personal stress, allowing the mind to process emotions gently. Stories containing imagery of harmony, hope, or transformation can guide the listener toward emotional regulation. The aesthetic beauty of language, rhythm, and imagery supports the healing process by calming the mind and opening pathways for understanding. Healing also comes from aesthetic order. When the environment is arranged with intention, objects placed thoughtfully, colors chosen with care, light softened, the mind perceives a sense of stability. Disorder can create subtle stress. Harmony brings comfort. This is why people clean or rearrange their living spaces during emotional transitions. Aesthetic alignment helps internal alignment. The space becomes a reflection of desired calm. Beauty also invites mindfulness. When someone stops to appreciate a flower, a pattern in the sand, or the soft movement of leaves, their attention shifts from worry to presence. The mind quiets, the senses awaken, This gentle focus interrupts cycles of stress, offering the brain a chance to reset. Even brief moments of aesthetic awareness can influence mood and cognition, supporting long-term well-being. Grief finds solace in beauty. When someone experiences loss, the world may feel emptied of meaning. Yet certain forms of beauty, sunsets, music, shared memories, familiar scents, can reconnect them to emotion in a softer, safer way. Beauty does not erase grief. It holds it. It gives the heart space to feel without being overwhelmed. It reminds the grieving person that the world still contains warmth, color, and connection. These reminders help the healing process unfold at its natural pace. Beauty also strengthens resilience. Moments of awe, even small ones, expand perspective. A vast sky, a powerful piece of music, the delicate detail of a leaf. Awe reduces the focus on oneself and opens awareness to the broader world. This shift increases emotional flexibility and reduces stress. People who experience awe regularly tend to feel more grounded, more connected, and more capable of navigating challenges. Relationships deepen through shared aesthetic experiences. Watching a sunset together, listening to music, visiting a natural place, or creating art can strengthen emotional bonds. These moments help people feel understood and supported. The shared experience of beauty aligns nervous systems, creating trust and reducing emotional barriers. Healing often unfolds more easily when it is accompanied by connection. Even introspection is shaped by beauty. When someone sits in a peaceful environment, surrounded by gentle colors and soft light, their thoughts often become clearer. The mind feels safe enough to look inward without fear. Insights arise naturally. Emotional knots loosen. The beauty of the environment provides a backdrop that encourages understanding and acceptance. Inner beauty, in the sense of inner harmony, also contributes to healing. When someone cultivates gratitude, compassion, or tranquility, these emotional qualities radiate outward, influencing perception and interaction. The mind becomes more attuned to beauty in the world. This reciprocal relationship supports well-being. The more beauty someone notices, the more balanced they feel. The more balanced they feel, the more beauty they can notice. Healing is not always grand. Often it is quiet, a moment of stillness, a warm color, a gentle sound, a soft pattern, a familiar scent, a comforting memory. These small forms of beauty accumulate, supporting the nervous system and the heart. Over time, they help restore equilibrium. Imagine sitting beside a calm lake at twilight. The surface of the water still, reflecting the sky with perfect softness. The colors shifting from gold to deep blue. The air cool and gentle. Your breath matching the rhythm of the evening. In this moment, beauty is not separate from healing. It is the same thing. The body relaxes, the mind softens, emotion settles into clarity. This is the quiet medicine that beauty offers. Beauty and healing are intertwined because both seek harmony. Both guide the mind toward balance. Both remind the body that it can rest. Beauty supports the natural intelligence of the nervous system, creating conditions in which healing becomes possible. It is one of the oldest forms of human care, a timeless language that speaks to the deepest layers of the mind and brings them gently back into peace. The search for the beautiful. The search for beauty is also the search for meaning. Across history, humans have looked to the world around them, to one another, and to their inner lives in an attempt to understand what beauty truly is. Philosophers, poets, artists, and spiritual teachers have all traced this question in their own ways. Yet beneath every interpretation lies a simple truth. Beauty touches something fundamental in the human mind. It awakens curiosity, emotion, and a sense of connection that goes beyond utility or logic. It invites reflection on what it means to be alive. In ancient Greece, beauty was closely tied to harmony and order. Philosophers believed that the universe itself was structured with mathematical precision, and that beautiful things echoed this cosmic symmetry. A sculpture with balanced proportions was seen as a reflection of the same principles that move the stars. A melody with gentle rhythm was considered an expression of natural law. The idea that beauty reveals something true about existence shaped the earliest philosophical inquiries into aesthetics. Plato argued that physical beauty was a gateway to understanding deeper forms of spiritual or moral beauty. A person might begin by admiring a beautiful face, but through contemplation, they could rise toward appreciating the beauty of character, wisdom, and virtue. For him, beauty was not an end, but a path, a way to ascend from the visible world to a higher realm of meaning. Aristotle, by contrast, saw beauty in the balance of elements. He believed that beauty arises when form and purpose align perfectly, when something fulfills its nature with clarity and grace. Eastern philosophies approached beauty differently. In many traditions, beauty arises from simplicity, impermanence, and the natural flow of things. A single blossom falling from a tree, a quiet pond reflecting the moon, a piece of pottery with a small crack that reveals its history. These forms of beauty emphasize presence rather than perfection. They invite the observer to see the subtle truth within each moment. Beauty becomes a reminder that all things change, and that meaning exists within that change. In other traditions, beauty is linked to unity, the sense that all things are interconnected. When someone feels awe before a vast landscape or becomes immersed in a piece of music, the boundaries between self and world soften. The mind expands. The heart opens. Beauty becomes the experience of belonging to something larger than oneself. This perspective appears in spiritual teachings, poetry, and meditative practices across many cultures. During the Renaissance, beauty became associated with human potential. Artists explored proportion, light, and anatomy to express the depth of emotion and intelligence within the human form. Beauty reflected the belief that humanity could understand, create, and shape its own world. This period revealed a new layer of meaning, beauty as an expression of creativity and discovery. The search for the beautiful became a celebration of the human spirit. Later philosophies introduced the idea that beauty is shaped by the observer as much as by the object. A scene is not inherently beautiful. It becomes beautiful when it resonates with the mind that perceives it. This resonance is influenced by memory, emotion, culture, and consciousness. Beauty is both subjective and shared, both personal and universal. It lives in the space where perception meets meaning. The search for beauty often deepens during moments of difficulty. In sadness, people look for beauty to find comfort. In uncertainty, they seek it for clarity. In joy, they seek it for celebration. Beauty provides emotional orientation. It helps people navigate the complexity of life. When the world feels chaotic, beauty reveals patterns. When the world feels heavy, beauty lightens the heart. When the world feels empty, beauty reminds the mind that meaning still exists. Beauty also invites presence. When someone pauses to appreciate a landscape, a face, a sound, or a gesture, They step out of the rush of thought. They return to the moment. This presence is the foundation of many contemplative practices. Meditation, prayer, and mindfulness often begin by focusing on something beautiful. A flame, a breath, a flower, a piece of music. These anchors help quiet the mind, guiding it towards stillness and awareness. The search for beauty encourages introspection. When someone reflects on what they find beautiful, they are really reflecting on who they are. A preference for simplicity may suggest a desire for clarity. A preference for intensity may reflect a longing for depth. A preference for warmth may reveal the need for connection. Beauty acts as a mirror, showing what the heart values most deeply. Some philosophers have suggested that beauty is a form of knowledge. Not knowledge in the sense of facts, but knowledge in the sense of insight. When someone encounters beauty, they often feel a moment of recognition, a sense that something has been understood without being explained. This understanding is subtle, emotional, and intuitive. It speaks to the deeper layers of consciousness. It reveals the connection between perception, emotion, and truth. Beauty also encourages humility. When someone stands before a mountain, a star-filled sky, or an ancient piece of art, they may feel small. But this smallness is not diminishing, it is expanding. It reminds the mind that life is vast and mysterious, that there is more to existence than daily concerns. This shift in perspective can bring peace. It helps the mind release worries and embrace a wider sense of meaning. The search for beauty often leads inward. After looking to nature, culture, art, and philosophy, many people discover a deeper form of beauty within themselves. The beauty of compassion, the beauty of resilience, the beauty of understanding. These inner qualities reflect the mind's capacity for growth and connection. They reveal that beauty is not only something to observe, but something to cultivate. Consider a person sitting alone in a quiet room, illuminated by gentle light. No music, no movement, only breath and presence. If this person feels a quiet sense of harmony, they are experiencing inner beauty. A beauty that arises not from the world, but from the alignment of mind and heart. This form of beauty is perhaps the most healing of all. It reflects the ability to find peace within oneself. Yet even inner beauty is shaped by the outer world. The search for beauty continues across the lifespan. New experiences deepen understanding. New relationships open emotional layers. New challenges reveal strength and clarity. Beauty evolves as the person evolves. The search never ends because beauty is woven into the fabric of human life. A gentle sunrise can awaken gratitude. A piece of music can unlock memory. A moment of kindness can illuminate the heart. A quiet evening can reveal the depth of presence. Beauty guides the mind toward meaning in each of these moments, reminding the observer that life holds more than tasks and worries. It holds reflection, connection, wonder. To search for the beautiful is to engage with life fully, to see beyond surface and function, to discover the subtle patterns that link emotion, perception, and existence. Beauty invites people to slow down, to listen, to breathe, and to feel. It opens space within the mind and softens the edges of thought. It reveals meaning that cannot be captured in words, only felt. The search for beauty is the search for understanding of the world, of others, of oneself. It is a search that brings the mind home, again and again, to the quiet truth that life becomes clearer, softer, and more meaningful when we take the time to notice what moves us. Beauty in the modern world. In the modern world, The experience of beauty exists in a landscape unlike any that came before. Humans once encountered beauty slowly through seasons, landscapes, relationships, and the steady rhythms of life. Now, beauty arrives through screens, signals, advertisements, and digital spaces that never sleep. The mind is flooded with images, colors, shapes, and sounds crafted with precision and intention. Some of these forms uplift and inspire. Others overwhelm. The psychology of beauty has not changed, but the environment around it has transformed dramatically, creating both new possibilities and new challenges. Technology has expanded access to beauty. With a small device, someone can view remote landscapes, hear music from across the world, or explore artwork from cultures they may never visit. This access can inspire awe, curiosity, and learning. A person living in a quiet town can watch the sunrise over distant mountains or listen to instruments that originated thousands of miles away. Digital beauty bridges distances and broadens the emotional palette of experience. It allows the mind to engage with forms of art and nature once limited by geography. Yet constant access to beauty also changes the way the mind responds to it. When beauty appears too frequently, especially in highly intensified or curated forms, the brain can become desensitized. What once evoked awe may begin to feel ordinary. Images designed to capture attention may overshadow the subtle forms of beauty found in everyday life. This shift affects perception. The mind begins to expect stimulation rather than presence. It seeks novelty rather than depth. Social media plays a significant role in shaping modern aesthetics. Platforms filled with filtered images, edited videos, and carefully curated moments create a new standard of beauty that can feel both inspiring and unattainable. Faces become flawless. Landscapes become exaggerated. Colors become more vivid than reality. These images influence how people see themselves and others, sometimes creating tension between natural beauty and digitally enhanced ideals. The psychology of comparison amplifies this effect. When people compare their everyday appearance or surroundings to curated images, they may feel dissatisfaction or self-doubt. Yet, within this environment, new forms of aesthetic expression emerge. Digital art, animation, virtual reality, and visual design allow creators to explore imagination in ways that were impossible in earlier eras. Artists can paint with light, sculpt with data, or compose with soundscapes that shift based on movement or input. These forms of beauty expand the boundaries of what the human mind can perceive. They allow new stories to unfold, new emotions to be expressed, and new pathways of creativity to flourish. Music in the modern world has become vast, diverse, and deeply accessible. People can discover genres, rhythms, and voices from every corner of the planet. This diversity enriches emotional experience. It allows listeners to find melodies that match their internal state or help shift it. Music streaming platforms also influence mood and identity. A single playlist can create an atmosphere of calm during a stressful day or bring comfort during difficult moments. Technology has turned music into a constant companion, shaping the emotional tone of daily life. Architecture in the modern world reflects the tension between rapid development and the desire for human-centered spaces. Cities filled with glass, steel, and straight lines can feel overwhelming or impersonal. Yet modern architecture also explores organic shapes, natural light, and sustainable materials. Many designers create buildings that breathe with the environment, offering quiet corners, gardens, and flowing forms that support well-being. Beauty in architecture becomes a balance between innovation and the timeless need for harmony. The pace of modern life affects how people experience beauty. When schedules are full and attention is fragmented, the mind may overlook moments of subtle beauty, a soft shadow on a wall, the texture of morning light, the rhythm of footsteps on a quiet street. These experiences disappear beneath the noise of urgency. Beauty requires attention. It reveals itself to a mind that slows enough to perceive it. In a world filled with speed, slowness becomes an act of reclaiming beauty. At the same time, modern life offers new opportunities for mindful beauty. Digital photography encourages people to observe details, the curve of a leaf, the color of the sky, the arrangement of light and shadow. Many people use photography not to impress others, but to pause and appreciate the world more deeply. The camera becomes an instrument of presence, guiding attention toward what might otherwise be missed. Design in the modern world often seeks minimalism, clear lines, soft tones, open spaces. This aesthetic reflects a deeper psychological need for calm amid complexity. Minimalist design reduces cognitive load. It allows the mind to rest without distraction. Many people feel drawn to uncluttered spaces because they echo the desire for internal clarity. Beauty in simplicity becomes a form of mental hygiene. The modern world also changes the meaning of natural beauty. As urban environments grow, many people develop a stronger longing for nature. A single tree in a city can feel like a sanctuary. A park becomes a refuge. A walk in the woods becomes a healing ritual. The scarcity of natural experiences enhances their emotional power. When someone steps into a forest after days or weeks of urban life, the nervous system responds with deep relief. The contrast sharpens the sense of beauty. Artificial beauty raises questions about authenticity. When technology shapes faces, voices, and environments, people may wonder what is real. Yet authenticity does not disappear. It shifts. A moment of genuine connection remains beautiful even in a digital age. A sincere smile, a thoughtful message, a shared silence. These forms of beauty do not rely on visual perfection. They arise from emotional presence. The mind recognizes authenticity through tone, rhythm, and intention. The modern world also encourages new forms of identity expression. People use fashion, art, personal spaces, and digital avatars to communicate who they are. This expression can be empowering, allowing individuals to explore identity through aesthetic choices, colors that feel aligned with emotion, patterns that reflect culture or personality, sounds that feel like home. Beauty becomes a tool for self-definition. But modern aesthetics also create pressure. Trends shift quickly. Styles change. People may feel compelled to adapt, fearing that their own preferences are not valid. Yet the psychology of beauty remains personal. True beauty resonates internally, not externally. When someone listens to their inner aesthetic sense rather than external comparison, they cultivate authenticity and psychological well-being. Advertising uses beauty strategically, often shaping desire through idealized imagery. This can create confusion about what beauty actually means. Products become linked to emotional promises, confidence, belonging, joy. Yet beauty cannot be purchased. It arises from perception, emotion, and meaning. When the mind recognizes this distinction, it can appreciate advertising without being dominated by it. The modern world also exposes people to suffering and conflict through media. In the midst of this, beauty becomes even more important. It offers balance. It offers rest. It offers hope. A single moment of beauty, a song, a sunset, a meaningful gesture can restore emotional strength. It reminds the mind that goodness still exists, even when the world feels heavy. Creativity thrives in modern environments where tools and platforms are readily available. People who once had no access to artistic materials can now draw digitally, compose music, or create visual experiences. This democratization of creation expands the spectrum of beauty. It encourages experimentation. It transforms passive consumption into active expression. Beauty becomes something many more people can participate in, shaping the aesthetic culture of their time. In quiet moments, away from screens and noise, modern people often rediscover beauty in the simplest things. The warmth of sunlight across a room, the scent of tea, the softness of fabric, the sound of rain. These moments reveal that beauty has not changed. The environment has changed, but the psychology of beauty remains rooted in calm, connection, harmony, and meaning. Beauty in the modern world requires intention. It asks the observer to slow down, to choose where to place attention, to filter out noise, to reconnect with the senses. When this happens, beauty becomes a powerful guide. It brings clarity to a mind crowded with information. It brings peace to a heart burdened with pressure. It brings meaning to a world moving quickly. The modern world does not diminish beauty. It simply transforms the context in which beauty is found. Amid technology, movement, and complexity, beauty becomes a grounding force, a way to return to the present, a way to return to the self. The future of beauty. The future of beauty is unfolding in a world where human imagination meets rapidly evolving technology. As tools become more sophisticated, and as global cultures intertwine, the meaning of beauty continues to expand. The foundations remain the same: harmony, resonance, emotion, connection. But the forms through which humans encounter beauty are evolving. The future invites a new chapter, one where biological instincts, cultural history, and technological innovation blend into a landscape of possibilities no generation before has experienced. Artificial intelligence is transforming the way beauty is created and perceived. Algorithms can now generate images, music, stories, and environments with remarkable nuance. These systems learn from vast collections of human art, capturing patterns in color, rhythm, and form. They can create paintings that resemble centuries-old masterpieces, or music that carries emotional depth, or landscapes that feel familiar yet entirely new. AI does not replace human creativity. Instead, it expands it. It becomes a collaborator, offering ideas that spark imagination and open new pathways of expression. In the future, artists may work with AI the way painters once worked with brushes or musicians with instruments. They may compose music that shifts in real time based on emotional input from the listener. They may design visual art that evolves with changes in light or movement. They may create immersive experiences where the boundary between the artwork and the observer dissolves. The beauty created through AI will be fluid, adaptive, and deeply personalized, reflecting both universal patterns and individual preferences. Virtual and augmented reality will also shape the future of beauty. These technologies allow people to step into environments that transcend physical limitations. Someone may stand on the surface of a distant moon, walk through forests of light, or explore architectural spaces that defy the laws of gravity. These experiences engage the senses fully, creating a level of immersion that intensifies emotional response. The beauty of such worlds is not limited by geography or material constraints. It is limited only by imagination. In these virtual spaces, people may discover forms of beauty impossible in the natural world, colors that shift with emotion, sounds that ripple like water, textures that respond to thought, gravity that bends in aesthetic patterns. These experiences may deepen understanding of how perception shapes emotion. They may also offer new ways to heal, relax, or reflect, especially for those who have limited access to natural environments or physical travel. Global culture will continue to evolve, merging traditions and aesthetics across borders. As people share music, art, and stories from every corner of the world, aesthetic boundaries will soften. A person in one country may wear clothing inspired by a distant culture, listen to music born on another continent, or decorate their home with motifs that blend multiple traditions. This merging creates a global tapestry of beauty. It allows people to appreciate differences while recognizing shared human instincts. Yet the future will also bring a renewed appreciation for authenticity. In a world filled with digital enhancement and curated images, natural, imperfect beauty may become even more cherished. The texture of real skin, the sound of an unedited voice, the warmth of sunlight, the softness of shadows. As technology advances, the human heart may increasingly seek the grounding presence of the natural world. Beauty will continue to exist not only in the digital realm, but in the quiet, unfiltered moments that cannot be replicated. Sustainability will shape future aesthetics. As awareness of environmental challenges grows, beauty will be tied more closely to ecological harmony. Architecture will incorporate natural materials, green spaces, and designs that blend with landscapes rather than dominate them. Clothing will evolve towards sustainable fabrics and ethical production. Products will be crafted with longevity and respect for the environment. This shift will redefine beauty as alignment with life itself. Aesthetic value will be linked to environmental responsibility. Health and well-being will also influence the future of beauty. Researchers are learning how color, sound, light, and spatial design affect the nervous system. This knowledge will shape environments that support mental clarity, emotional balance, and physical health. Homes may be designed to enhance calm through natural light, organic textures, and gentle forms. Public spaces may incorporate soundscapes that reduce stress. Workplaces may use color and layout to support focus and well-being. Beauty will become a tool for creating healthier lives. Future beauty may also be personalized through neuroscience. As brain-computer interfaces evolve, it may become possible to map an individual's aesthetic preferences on a deeper level. Designers could create music that resonates with someone's unique neural patterns, or visual art that adapts to their emotional state. Personalized beauty could support therapeutic practices, helping individuals regulate mood, process emotion, or cultivate calm. The mind may interact directly with artistic expression, blurring the line between perception and creation. The future will continue to raise philosophical questions. What is beauty when algorithms can generate endless variations? What is originality when machines learn from human creativity? What is authenticity when digital selves can look and act however one wishes? These questions will guide the evolution of aesthetic values. Yet the core of beauty will remain rooted in emotion, intention, and connection. Technology can shape form, but meaning arises from the human heart. The future of beauty will also be shaped by diversity. As societies become more inclusive, aesthetic standards will broaden. Beauty will be recognized in a wider range of bodies, faces, voices, and identities. Unique features once marginalized may become celebrated. Personal expression will evolve beyond rigid categories. People will feel freer to present themselves in ways that align with their inner truth. This shift will create a richer, more nuanced understanding of beauty. Even as the world changes, the ancient roots of beauty will endure. The mind will continue to respond to symmetry, harmony, rhythm, color, and authenticity. People will still feel moved by the sound of water, the sight of a sunset, the warmth of another person's eyes. Beauty will remain a source of connection between individuals, between cultures, between humanity and the world, between the present self and the future self. Imagine a future evening where someone sits in a quiet room. A soft glow fills the space. They wear a headset that places them on a mountaintop beneath a sky filled with shifting colors. A gentle melody plays, adapting to the rhythm of their breath. In this virtual space, they feel calm, they feel connected, they feel wonder. Yet, when they remove the device, they step onto their porch and look up at the real night sky. Stars twinkle above. The air is cool. The moment is simple. The beauty is profound. This coexistence of digital and natural beauty will define the future. Technology will expand what is possible, but the human heart will remain anchored in the essence of beauty, connection, emotion, harmony, and meaning. As long as humans feel, beauty will continue to evolve with them. The future of beauty is not a destination. It is a horizon, an unfolding landscape shaped by imagination, innovation, experience, and the timeless desire to understand and express what it means to be human. Closing reflection. Beauty has followed humanity through every chapter of its existence. It has appeared in the earliest flames that lit ancient nights, in the shifting colors of dawn across untouched landscapes, in the faces of loved ones whose expressions became the first language of emotion, in the patterns etched into stone, the melodies carried through generations, the stories whispered in the dark, and the quiet moments when the world feels still enough to touch the heart. Across this long journey, beauty has remained a companion to the human mind. It has shaped perception, guided emotion, and offered comfort in times of uncertainty. It has opened doorways to meaning, revealing connections between the self, the world, and the unseen depths of feeling. The psychology of beauty is not simply about preference or taste. It is about understanding the mind's need for harmony, the heart's need for connection, the spirit's need for wonder. Every part of the human experience is touched by beauty, the symmetry of nature, the rhythm of music, the softness of light, the stories that carry wisdom, the faces that reveal tenderness, the creativity that gives form to emotion, the cultural traditions that weave identity, the personal memories that make ordinary moments feel profound. Beauty is woven into perception and meaning so deeply that the mind cannot separate the two. In the quiet of night, when the world slows and distractions soften, beauty becomes even more powerful. It gives the mind permission to rest. It guides attention toward gentleness. It invites reflection on what truly matters. In these hours, beauty becomes not just an experience, but a form of understanding, a whisper from the deepest layers of the self. Consider the vastness of the journey explored, the origins of aesthetic perception shaped by early human survival, the instincts that draw the mind toward harmony, the neural pathways that translate light, sound, and pattern into emotion, the faces that communicate warmth through expression, the landscapes and natural rhythms that calm the nervous system, the art that transforms feeling into form, the cultures that create shared visions of meaning, the personal memories that give beauty its intimate depth, the healing that flows through gentle colors, sounds, and textures, the philosophical search that asks what beauty reveals about the nature of reality, the modern world that floods the senses with possibility and challenge, and the future where imagination, technology, and humanity will weave new forms of aesthetic experience. Each chapter reflects the same truth. Beauty is not ornament. It is orientation. It is how the mind makes sense of the world. It is how emotion becomes understandable. It is how meaning arises from everyday life. When someone feels drawn to a soft color, a calming scene, a gentle voice, or a moment of stillness, the reaction is not superficial. It is ancient. It is instinctive. It is rooted in the need for alignment between inner experience and outer surroundings. In the closing moments of this long reflection, imagine yourself in a peaceful space. The lights dim, the air still. Perhaps you are sitting beside a window as night settles over the landscape. The sky a deep blue, a few stars appearing quietly, the world outside softening into shadow, the atmosphere calm and unhurried. In this space, your breath slows. Your thoughts drift with gentle rhythm. You feel the presence of beauty, not as something distant, but as something within you. Beauty is the language through which the mind speaks to the heart. It is the bridge between sensation and meaning. It is the thread that connects memory, identity, and emotion. To recognize beauty is to recognize the quiet intelligence that moves within every person, an intelligence that seeks harmony, understanding, and connection. As the night deepens, beauty becomes a companion, a guide into rest, a soft reminder that life holds more than tasks, worries, or noise. It holds moments of stillness, moments of wonder, moments of gentle awe. These moments restore the mind and soothe the heart. Let yourself settle into the calm created by this understanding. The psychology of beauty is the psychology of presence. To feel beauty is to return to yourself, to the part of you that knows how to rest, how to breathe, how to let go. The journey of beauty is the journey of being human. And as you drift towards sleep, you carry within you the knowledge that beauty is always near, in the world around you, in the people you love, in the memories that shaped you, and in the quiet depths of your own mind where meaning unfolds like soft light in the darkness. Let this understanding carry you gently into rest,